It's Friday, and that means it's time to pull up a chair, grab a snack, and join the table for your weekly dive into tabletop gaming news and discussion, where I, Kurt, rant about all things tabletop with no notes, no script, and no guardrails. This is Between Turns. Hey, everybody, a couple things before we begin. As you'll notice, there has been about a 2-week gap since any episodes have been posted, and that has been due to some technical issues. Thankfully, those are resolved, and everything should be back on track as normal. So, this is actually episode 5, but episode 3 for our purposes. So, I'm glad to have you back and look forward to having everything else on track. Also, the website is live at elkagames.com. Links to all of our other content on there. There are some reviews being posted on TikTok and Instagram fairly regularly. Try to get through at least 1 or 2 of those a week, so hopefully you find some new favorite games over there. It's a fairly slow news week this week, but that does give me plenty of time to rant about something that actually kind of grinds my gears quite a bit. That is game expansions. Expansions are typically considered a win-win when it comes to board gaming, just because, one, from the publisher side, there's a lot of economic incentive there. Expansions make money. The base game has an audience, so they know it's going to sell. They cost less to develop. Core rules, art, and production pipelines are already in place. They're also a lot less risky to produce. For players especially, they can fix or even balance a base game that may have needed just a couple tweaks here or there, or give more customization, a little bit more of a modular playability. Sometimes you can mix and match multiple expansions. Just a lot of different variables can go into play there at that point. And then storytelling and world building, all things that make expansions really good. And while those good expansions add that variety and depth, bad ones feel like a paywall. So, a good expansion, modest cost relative to the base game, enhances without being required, adds meaningful content, new cards, modules, maps, factions, etc., and doesn't break the core balance. So, Dominion, Wingspan, and now Wormspan, which just had an expansion come out. Catan expansions are always a good example of it. On the flip side, where expansions go wrong, one that irks me the most is when an expansion is released with the base game. And then it feels like content was intentionally held back just for that expansion. Or if the expansion is extremely expensive relative to the base game. If there are essential fixes or must-have modules that are packaged as expansions, those should have been in the base box. Terraforming Mars Prelude. At this point, that expansion feels so essential that it, in a lot of ways, makes the base game feel incomplete if you're not playing it with Prelude. Or if they create imbalance or slow gameplay. And really, like I said, any Kickstarter exclusive expansion, like, I get it. I understand you want to do something for all of the people who back that game. But if you already have an expansion at that point, put it into the deluxe edition and make it just that. It doesn't have to be an expansion per se. It's just part of that game. So how does one judge an expansion before buying? Does the base game already feel satisfying? Does it add something new or just more of the same? Is it reasonably priced compared to how much you'll actually use it? And I encourage all of you to don't feel pressured to complete the set. Buy what actually adds to your table's fun. And it's something that even I struggle with. I think all of us have some aspect of this completionist mentality where we want to have all of the parts to the collection. And, sometimes you end up with an entire shelf full of expansions that you have never brought to the table because the base game is fine on its own and your table still really enjoys it. So, really take that time and think about what adds to your table's fun. Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. So of course, there are, like we said, good expansions and bad expansions. But I'd love to hear from all of you. What's the best or worst expansion that you've ever bought? Leave your comments below. I look forward to reading all of them. Next week's episode, we're going to be talking a lot about the availability of certain games and how hard it is to obtain them given current market conditions. I look forward to seeing all of you there. And if you haven't yet, like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. Thank you all for being here with me tonight. We look forward to seeing you next week.